Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as assistant professor in Gandhia School of Pharmacy at SGU. Today we discuss introduction to non-linear pharmacokinetics. In this we covered what is non-linear pharmacokinetics. It's the next topic of biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics, sixth semester subject. So in this mainly we covered non-linear pharmacokinetics in this introduction part with certain example and how it takes place, the derivative that is required for non-linearity and how these non-linearities causes. So all these things we discuss in this lecture regarding the non-linear pharmacokinetics. Before starting this lecture or this topic, we should know about some learning object of this lecture. So in this learning object, first is to introduction to basic kinetics parameter, means what is non-linear pharmacokinetics and kinetics required or basic kinetic parameter for non-linearity. Next is possible causes of non-induction, means what are the causes or what factors or what thing is responsible for non-linearity and causes of these non-linearity kinetics. Next is non-linear binding, means how this non-linear binding is takes place and how these non-linear kinetics cause this responsible reaction and derivative. And non-linearity of pharmacological response means different pharmacological response that show non-linear pharmacokinetics. All these things we study in this lecture. So in this first thing is the content that we covered in this lecture, basic kinetics parameter. So in this absorption rate constant, elimination rate constant, volume of distribution, renal clearance, hepatic clearance, and diabetic frictions. All these kinetic parameter we discuss. And next is possible causes of non-induction. So in this causes, first is drug absorption, second is distribution, next is metabolism and excretion. All these are the causes that responsible for non-induction of non-linear pharmacokinetics. So these causes we also discuss. And next is non-linear binding, means how the binding takes place and difference between linear as well as non-linear binding and how the binding shows a different reaction or derivative. And next is non-linear pharmacological response. Linear and non-linear have a different response. So in this we see the pharmacological response of non-linear reaction. So all this topic we discuss in this lecture. In this basic pharmacokinetic parameter, so in this basic pharmacokinetic, the main pharmacological parameter in non-linear pharmacokinetics are, these are the major topic that response in pharmacokinetic parameter or non-linear pharmacokinetic parameter. So first is absorption rate constant. In this we check that how the absorption takes place or how much drug get absorbed according to non-linearity. And the absorption rate constant we calculate in non-linearity pattern, that is Ka. K is the absorption rate constant. And next is elimination rate constant. So in this elimination rate constant, we check that elimination rate of a drug or how much drug is eliminated out from your body, including metabolism and excretion. So in this basic pharmacokinetic, we check that absorption, FF, elimination. Elimination is a Ke, that is constant rate of elimination. In elimination, we included both metabolism and excretion. Next is volume of distribution, means how much drug is distributed out or how much volume is distributed out that particular drug in your body in non-linear manner, we check. So VD is your apparent volume of distribution for non-linearity. Next is renal clearance. These clearance is only from renal route or through by renal route. So in this we check that how much drug is excreted out or clear out from only renal route. So this represented by CLR, means clearance from renal route. Next is hepatic clearance. So in this hepatic clearance, we check that excretion or clearance of a drug from hepatic route. And in this hepatic clearance, symbol is clearance, that is CLH. And in this only we consider the volume and amount of a drug that excreted out and cleared out from hepatic route only. Next is viability friction. So in this, we check the frictional amount of a drug that is bioavailable in your body or at a specific site. So the viability of a drug is checked by the viability friction F. And in this non-linear pharmacokinetic, these parameters will change depending on its administration dose. Means these parameters may be vary. It may be less, more, or changes according to administration route, which route you prefer or use for administration of a drug. So these concentration of these parameters for non-linearity may be vary depending on type of administration or route of drug administration. Next, in this absorption rate constant. In this absorption rate constant, that is Ka. In this, we check that how much drug is constant amount that absorbed in non-linearity. So it is expressed by Ka, and the rate of drug absorption can be zero, first order, pseudo zero order, and pseudo first order. These are the different reactions that may be observed in absorption rate constant depending on the route of administration or type of drug. It either be zero order or maybe first order or pseudo zero order or pseudo first order also. So these are the different types of absorption rate constant reaction. Next is for immediate release dosage form, that is Ka, first order because of physical nature of the drug infusion. Means in this, suppose we are taking the formulation that is immediate release, or suppose we are taking a tablet that show the immediate effect. So in this immediate type of formulations show first order reaction, or mainly we observe the first order kinetics for immediate formulation due to the nature of the drug formulation. Next, in this IV infusion and certain controlled drug product like Ka will be zero order rate reaction. And suppose we are administering the drug by IV route or IV infusion. And in the formulation is a controlled release formulation, and so controlled release formulation that administered by IV route or IV infusion. In this, we can say that drug shows zero order reaction rate constant, that is Ka shows zero order constant rate. In this, Ka determined by method of residue. This is a constant absorption rate that you can easily determine by the below method. These are the method that you use for determination of absorption rate constant or Ka. First method is method of residue. Second is flip-flop method of Ka and K, means both absorption and elimination. This method is used. Next is Wagner-Nelson method. And next is Low-Regeman method. So all these methods are suitable for determination of constant rate of absorption or value of a K. You can easily check with the help of these methods, maybe combination or in a single method. All methods are sufficient for Ka value. And importance of a Ka is constant rate of absorption. So in this absorption, we're designing the multiple doses regimen. Means mainly we are selecting the formulation who have multiple doses regimen or multiple dose as required. Single dose is not sufficient. So for multiple doses regimen, usually calculate that how much drug is absorbed or constant rate of absorption with the help of this Ka. Next is Ka and Ke helps to predict peak through plasma drug concentration following multiple doses. Means with the help of this constant elimination and absorption, you can easily predict one peak, or with the help of graph that show the plasma drug concentration for multiple doses, you can easily check that how much drug is present with the help of that particular graph and plasma drug concentration. It gives both result parameters, that is absorption and elimination rate constant. Next is it can be used in bioequivalence study, means bioequivalence study or checking the bioequivalence parameter of your drug. We use this bioequivalence study parameter. Next is elimination rate constant. This is the second parameter for pharmacokinetic parameter. In this, we check elimination rate or how much drug is excreted out or eliminated out from your body. And symbol that is used for elimination rate constant is Ke. So in this case is the summation of rate constant for each process. Means in elimination, we check that how much total drug is excreted out in each process or each route. So in this condition, we check the urinary excretion, metabolism, biliary excretion, and pulmonary excretion. We already discussed that elimination included both metabolism and excretion process. So in this, we are calculating elimination rate constant, means both parameter excretion as well as metabolism. So this elimination rate constant is included by summation or sum of all the parameter or all the different route that helps to excretion of your drug. And this will mainly include urinary excretion, also metabolism, biliary excretion, and pulmonary excretion, or any other route that is responsible for excretion of the drug. We also consider in this elimination rate, and summation of all these excretion route we check, and the overall summation of these route show the Ke or total elimination rate constant. So in this equation, we can easily understand the elimination rate constant, that is Ke elimination rate constant is equals to Km plus Kb plus Ki plus any other route, means urinary excretion, biliary excretion, pulmonary excretion, or any of the route, you can plus all these route. These total amount of Ke represent the elimination rate constant or Ke. And for zero order rate elimination is a constant irrespective of plasma concentration. Means suppose your reaction is showing zero order rate elimination. So in this condition, we receive the constant irrespective equation for plasma concentration or drug present in your plasma, and therefore ER is equals to KE, means renal elimination total is equals to KE, or elimination constant excretion, elimination constant. For first order rate of elimination is proportional to plasma concentration constant friction that can be eliminated by per unit time. So this equation gives ER is equals to dC by dt, that we can simplify, minus KE So this is the equation which show the first order reaction. Means this elimination constant either maybe zero order or maybe first order or both order. If it zero order, then the reaction is KR minus KE, this equation. And if it's in first order, then reaction is this, ER is equals to dC by dt or minus KEC. Importance of elimination rate constant, why this elimination rate constant is important and why you perform this. So in this, determination of K is important for selection of doses regimen, means how much doses regimen is required, how much dose is required for particular disease or particular drug. So with the help of this elimination constant or KE, you can easily check doses regimen or how much dose is sufficient for that particular disease. Next is also in dose adjustment in renal impairment. This patient is suffer from any renal problem or renal impairment or any of the renal disease. So in this condition, doses adjustment is also possible with the help of this constant elimination rate or with the help of KE. You can easily calculate the specific amount of dose which is required for renal excretion or renal impairment. Next is volume of distribution, that is VD. It is also known as apparent volume of distribution. And this volume of distribution is mainly for non-linearity. In this, check the total amount of volume that is distributed out in your body. So in this volume of distribution, it is also known as apparent volume of distribution, which is used to quantify the distribution of medication, plasma, and rest of the body after oral and parenteral dosing. Means in this, after administration of a drug, how much drug is present in your plasma or in your body, we are checking. And this volume of distribution is possible for both route, maybe by parenteral route or oral route. You can check the volume or total amount of a volume which is distributed out in your plasma or in your body. With the help of this volume of distribution and route may be either oral route or parenteral route, the volume of distribution is possible by both route, parenteral as well as oral route. Next is, it is defined as the volume in which amount of a drug would not be uniformly distributed to produce the observed blood concentration. Means in this, there's not a specific amount of volume is required, amount of a drug, a specific volume would need to uniformity distribution or how much drug is uniformly distributed out in the body. According to blood concentration, with the help of these blood sample, you can easily check how much drug present in a plasma or in a blood or in your body. So this is also give the accurate definition of volume which is present in your body or drug concentration present in your body. Next is volume of distribution may be increased by renal failure due to fluid retention, liver failure due to altered body fluid, plasma protein binding. Conversely, it may be decreased in dehydration. Means these volume distribution or amount of drug distributed out in your body may be vary or maybe decrease out due to certain condition. In this condition, maybe it's a renal failure, means due to fluid retention by renal, or maybe liver failure also. In this liver failure may be due to altered body fluid and plasma protein. Next is conversely maybe to decrease in dehydration. Dehydration is also responsible for less distribution of the drug in your body. And VD is given by following equation. This is the equation which show the volume of distribution or VD. So it's a ratio of total amount of a drug in the body, means total amount or how much drug present in your body, divided by drug plasma concentration, means how much drug present in your plasma or in a blood concentration. So this volume of distribution is nothing but the ratio of total amount of a drug or total concentration of a drug which is present in your body. We divide this amount by plasma drug concentration, how much drug present in your plasma. This is the example of drug according to volume of distribution. If we see the warfarin, so in this volume of distribution is 8 liter. And if you see the theophylline, so theophylline shows 30 liter volume of distribution. And ethanol is 30 liter same as theophylline. Importance of volume of distribution. So those required to give a certain plasma concentration can be determined by volume of distribution. Drug is known as volume of distribution. So this volume of distribution is mainly responsible to give the accurate result already regarding the plasma drug concentration or how much drug is distributed out in your plasma. So all this information is with the help of volume of distribution. Next, fourth parameter is renal clearance. So in this renal clearance, we check the elimination or excretion of a drug through only renal route or clearance through only the renal route. In this, we don't check any other route. We check renal clearance or total amount of drug that excreted out by renal only. So it is the volume of blood from which drug is totally removed in unit per time through renal excretion. This is the amount or total amount of drug which is removed from renal or through renal excretion, and it is expressed as a CLR, means total clearance through renal route, and unit is ml per minute. Means how much ml per minute drug is eliminated out or here out from clearance route, that is renal CLR. So this is the renal clearance, and it is noted by formula for clearance of renal. This is the formula for renal clearance or total clearance of a drug through renal route. It is the rate of urinary excretion divided by plasma drug concentration. Means nothing in this formula is too much difficult. It's just a ratio of urinary excretion or how much drug is excreted out through urine route or by urinary or renal excretion, to divide these value by total plasma drug concentration or how much total drug present in your body. So with the help of this formula or this ratio, you can easily check that clearance or total clearance of a drug through renal route. Next is physiological formula, which is just a little bit modified for clearance of renal route. And in this clearance renal route is equals to rate of filtration plus rate of secretion minus rate of absorption. Because in excretion only the elimination is not takes place, there may be chances that some drug get filtered out or secreted out, or maybe some drug get reabsorbed. Instead of clearing, it can come back and show sufficient effect or therapeutic effect, and these amount do not get excreted out. So in these renal clearance, you can also check that rate filtration plus rate secretion, and this value is minus with reabsorption. Those drug is not cleared out, maybe reabsorbed, and divided by plasma drug concentration, means total amount of drug which is present in your plasma. This is same for previous one. So just reabsorption drug is minus by this urinary excretion. Otherwise, it's a sum of all these things, and you divide the total amount or total plasma drug concentration in your body. So this is renal clearance formula. Next is hepatic clearance. In this, we can say that it's the same for like renal clearance. Instead of renal, we are taking the hepatic route and check that how much drug is eliminated out or excreted out through hepatic route only. So similar to a renal route, here we are taking hepatic route instead of renal route. So in this hepatic clearance can be defined as the volume of a blood pursuing the liver that is cleared of the drug per unit time. Means hepatic clearance is nothing but the volume or amount of a drug which is present in your blood, which can easily excreted out or eliminated out from liver, and the clearance of a drug per unit time is how much drug is cleared in particular time period or particular unit time. And the clearance can be given by following equation. So this is the equation. Clearance through hepatic route is equals to clearance total minus clearance to the renal. Means we can say that these hepatic clearance you can check with the help of two clearance value. So when we minus the renal clearance, the total clearance rate, means how much total clear is minus by renal route or by excretion route, you can easily check that the remaining amount is the hepatic clearance. So it's a formula for hepatic clearance, that is clearance total minus clearance through renal route. And for certain drugs, that non-renal clearance can be assumed as equal to hepatic clearance. Means those drugs who can eliminate out or excrete out from non-renal clearance or by non-renal route, and it is assumed that it's maybe cleared out through hepatic route or hepatic clearance. Next is viability friction. So in this viability friction is denoted by F term. So in this amount of drug that reaches the systemic circulation is known as systemic viability or viability. Means after administration of a drug or after taking of the drug, how much drug is reaches out or present in your body or in a systemic circulation. or these bioavailable drug in systemic circulation is known as viability, or also you can say that systemic bioavailability. That is amount of a drug which is available in the systemic circulation. And next, in this, the friction of administered dose that enter the systemic circulation is known as viability friction and expressed as F. Means in previous definition, we already see that viability or systemic availability of a drug. Next is friction of this viability. So this friction is mainly expressed by F term, and you can easily check the friction of this viability with the help of a drug or friction of administered dose that is available or enter in your systemic circulation. So F can be by the following equation, or the viability friction is calculated by following equation. This is the ratio of bioavailable dose divided by administered dose. So in this, nothing too much value is required. We just check that how much bioavailable dose is available or how much drug is bioavailable in the systemic circulation. We divide this value by administered dose. Administered dose is the total amount of drug that you are taking or administered by a specific group. So bioavailable dose is divided by administered dose. Next is possible causes of induction. Which causes or which factor is responsible for this induction or non-linearity? So in this, non-induction is used to represent the non-linearity, and non-linearity is can occur by drug absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. These are the conditions that cause the non-linearity or induction of non-linearity. Induction and non-linearity causes both are the same term. So when we see the causes of non-induction, so there is a ADME parameter are responsible for this causing of non-linearity or induction. And this possibility first is drug absorption that cause the induction. So in this first is non-linearity, the drug absorption can arise from three sources. So in this three sources, first source is when absorption is solubility or dissolution rate limited. This is mainly specified or decided according to BCS classification, biological classification system that we already discussed. And in this, absorption is the solubility or dissolution rate limited, means your drug may be limited amount of absorb or limited amount may dissolve. And these solubility and dissolution, so absorption and solubility depend on type of amount of the drug. And in this, at higher dose, a saturated solution of the drug is found in the GIT. Means you are taking the higher dose, and due to this higher dose, saturation takes place of that particular solution of a drug. And the GIT or any other extravascular site, means maybe extravascular site or GIT is responsible for this dissolution or solubility issue, and the rate of absorption attain a constant value. And in this example is glaciofulvin. Glaciofulvin is responsible for absorption and solubility and dissolution rate limited. Next, in this absorption, second parameter is when absorption involves carrier mediated transport. In certain carrier is required for this mechanism, or your absorption process is depend on carrier mediated or depending on a certain carrier. With the help of these carrier, it shows the absorption process. So in this carrier mediated transport, saturation of a transport system at a higher dose of vitamins result in non-linearity. Means when you are taking the vitamin formulation or vitamin type formulation at very high dose, due to this high dose or saturation transport, you can say that these high dose of a vitamin show non-linearity or causes the non-linearity induction. In this example of riboflavin, ascorbic acid, cyanocobalamin, all these are the vitamin formulation that is required for high dose or administered at a very high dose. Next, third parameter for absorption is when pre-systemic gut wall or hepatic metabolism attain the saturation. So in the saturation of the systemic metabolism of these drugs at high doses led to increased viability. Means when you are taking very high dose or very high concentration, due to this high concentration, viability is more or observe more viability. And due to this more viability, pre-systemic metabolism takes place in saturated level. An example of this is propanol, hydrazine, and verapamil. Next is other causes of nonlinearity in absorption rate. So in this, other than these three parameters, some other causes of nonlinearity in absorption is also responsible. So in this, first is change in gastric empty. Means gastric condition is maybe empty condition or fulfilled condition. So change in gastric emptying condition. as well as change in GI blood flow. How much blood flow is takes place in GI circulation or in GI blood flow. The concentration of total amount of GI blood flow may be vary and change based on absorption rate non-linearity. And the parameter affected by the is F, Ka, Cmax, and AUC. These are the parameters which may be affected due to this absorption non-linearity, and decrease in this parameter is observed in the former two causes and increase in latter case. Next is non-induction causes or non-linearity causes is drug distribution. So in this we see the distribution parameter of a drug related to non-linearity. In this first is saturation of binding site on plasma protein. Means a particular binding site which is required for plasma protein gets saturated out, and saturation of that binding site on plasma protein takes place. This is a finite number of binding site for particular drug on plasma protein, and theoretically as concentration is rise, the diffraction of unbound drug means a specific amount of a drug that bind. If you increase the concentration of a drug, there's no chances that instead of increasing concentration, your binding concentration may be increased. There may be chances that no drug is available in an unbound form or not get bound. So the finite number of binding site is available. Suppose there's a 5 site, so 5 molecules of a drug can bind that particular binding 5 site. If you increase the concentration, your drug may be available in unbound site, unbound form. So there's a finite number of binding site for particular drug plasma protein theoretically as the concentration is rise, so the friction is unbound. An example in this phenylbutazine and naproxen, these are the two drugs which have a specific binding site or plasma protein binding site. Next is saturation tissue binding site. So here is also similar to a binding site to plasma protein with large single bolus doses or multiple doses. Saturation of tissue storage can be occurred. So this is mainly for large single bolus doses or multiple doses type formulation. And due to the saturation of the tissue storage may occur, and saturation is observed. In this example is thiopentol, pentyl. These are the two drug examples which show the saturation of the tissue binding site. Next, in this both cases, the free plasma drug concentration is increased. Means both in a tissue binding site as well as plasma protein binding site, the free plasma drug concentration or free available drug and concentration may be increased, but the volume of distribution is decreased because unbound drug is available. The concentration of bound drug is specific to particular plasma protein binding site or tissue protein binding site. So volume of distribution may be increased due to plasma drug concentration increase in both the cases, and only the former cases will increase in latter. Next, third parameter which causes the induction non-linearity is drug metabolism. So in drug metabolism, we see the different parameter which is responsible to induction or metabolism of a drug. And these two important causes of non-linearity in metabolism is, first is capacity limited metabolism due to enzyme and cofactor saturation. Means these metabolites is also similar to a distribution type. Distribution is mainly specific to site or available site for particular binding. Similarly, in this metabolism, we can say that there is also capacity limited or limited amount of metabolism which takes place. And this is depend on the enzyme and cofactor saturation value or amount of particular enzyme and cofactor saturation. In this category, example is phenytoin, alcohol, and theophylline. These are the example of capacity limited metabolism due to enzyme and cofactor. Next, second is enzyme induction, and the enzyme induction is also responsible for this drug metabolism. And this decrease in the peak plasma concentration has been observed in repetitive administration over time, and auto-induction characterized in case is also dose dependent. Means mainly we can say that peak plasma concentration or peak of your graph does depend on the concentration. These peak may be decreased when you repetitively take the drug or repetitive period you continuously taking the drug. Or in this auto-induction is also characterized by the cases is dose dependent. And the enzyme induction is common cause for both dose and time dependent kinetics. In this example is carbamazepine and other causes of non-linearity in metabolism. Other than these two parameters, some other parameters also responsible for this metabolism. These are Saturation of a binding site means how much site is available for binding of a drug, or it may be saturated out or not. So saturation of a binding site. Second is inhibitory effect in metabolism on enzyme. How much drug is enzyme get inhibited, or inhibitory effect of metabolism enzyme. Next is pathophysiological conditions such as hepatotoxicity, change in hepatic blood flow. These are the another causes of non-linearity. Means how much drug is showing the hepatotoxicity, or how much drug is suitable for particular effect or particular blood flow in hepatic. Next parameter for induction and non-linearity is drug excretion. In this, we see the different parameter which is required for excretion or elimination of the drug. So in this two active process in renal excretion of a drug that are saturable are, first is active tubular secretion, and second is active tubular reabsorption. Means how much drug is present in active amount or secreted out from your body, as well as how much drug is actively reabsorbed or available for showing the same effect again. So in this active tubular secretion, after the saturation of a carrier system, a decrease in renal clearance. Example is penicillin G. So this penicillin G type drug show active tubular secretion where the saturation of a drug is carrier system dependent and decrease the renal clearance. Next is active tubular reabsorption. In this, after saturation of carrier enzyme, increase in renal clearance occur. It just opposes tubular secretion. Example is water soluble vitamin and glucose. So in active tubular secretion, we can say that decrease in renal clearance, and in reabsorption, increase in renal clearance. Next is biliary excretion. So this biliary excretion is nothing but also an active process, or you can say that it is the active process where the subject to saturation or use the saturation subject. And this example is tetracycline and indomethacin. These are the two examples that show biliary excretion. Next is other sources of non-linearity in the renal excretion. So other than these three above parameters, there are some other parameters also responsible for non-linearity in excretion. So in this other parameter, first one is forced diuretics. Forced diuretic condition is also show this drug excretion, or person who are suffering from forced diuretic problem. So in this condition, these excretion rate may vary. Next is change in urine, that is pH. Means pH of urine, if not stable or certain changes in the urine pH may cause this elimination or excretion rate in non-linearity. Next is nephrotoxicity. In nephrotoxicity, we can say that if person is having certain toxicity or nephron toxicity in this condition, maybe this drug elimination may be vary for non-linearity. Next is saturation of a binding site, means how much drug site is available for binding of that particular drug. Less amount of a drug is available, then more less amount of binding site is available, then we can say that more amount of clearance is takes place due to large amount of unbound drug is available, which can easily excreted out. So this drug excretion through non-linearity is also responsible for or dependent on saturation of a binding site. Next is detection of a non-linearity. So in this detection of non-linearity, we can check or determine the steady state plasma concentration and different doses. Means according to different concentration and different doses, we check that how much drug plasma concentration at the steady state. And this is the equation. And this concentration in steady state is directly proportional to x0, that is for linear. Next is steady state concentration is directly proportional to x0, that is non-linear. So this is the determination of steady state plasma concentration at a specific dose. Next is determination of some important pharmacokinetic parameter. So in this pharmacokinetic parameter, mainly we can check the friction, that is F. And next is T half, means total time is required, half-life time is required for this elimination. So these are the pharmacokinetic parameter that we check in non-linearity: friction, half-life time, and concentration, that is C, etc. are the rate constant in change in which we show the non-linearity. These are the parameters which show the non-linearity in elimination. Next is non-linear binding. So in this non-linear binding, the binding of a drug takes place, but in this pattern is non-linear pattern. And in this, we can say that limited drug over site exit on the plasma protein. Average plasma concentration of albumin is 43 gram per liter or 600 ml, and the site to which drug bind in the tissue may be similarly limited. Means non-linearity mainly responsible or showing in this condition if there's less number of binding site is available or less amount of binding site is available. Supposing this albumin site is specific, that is 43 gram per liter or 600 ml, and according to this albumin, the tissue binding site is also have a limited amount. If this concentration is vary and less amount of binding site is available, then less drug is bind with particular site and more drug is available in free form or unbound form. Consequently, the volume of distribution depend on the concentration and concentration dependent behavior, means nature of your drug or how much drug concentration get bind, as well as nature or behavior of that particular drug. So in this, let us consider a hypothetical situation where the two drugs are given by IV bolus in equal doses. And this is the graph that we discuss after this point. So in this, we are administering the two drug or taking the two drug that administered by IV bolus to that particular person. And both drugs have a same dose or equal doses. One drug is 19% protein bound, and the other drug not bound at the plasma protein, and both are eliminated solely by glomerular filtration to the kidney. So these is two drug A and drug B, where both drug concentration is same, and this is given by IV bolus, but the elimination of binding of these two drugs is not similar due to the nature of the drug. A may be bound 90% protein bound, and B may not be bound or very little amount of is bound, and remaining get cleared out, and both drugs get eliminated out by glomerular filtration rate. And this is the graph that shows the time versus plasma drug level of these two drugs. And in this plasma drug level time profile of these drugs is given by two doses. In the above plot, drug A represents a 90% bound to plasma protein curve, and B represents a drug not bound to plasma protein. Means A drug is mainly show that 90% of drug can easily bond with your plasma, and B represent that no drug can bond with plasma protein, but both are administered by same route or in the same dose due to nature of drug may be vary, and binding site may vary. Due to this specific factor, the amount of drug bind is also may be different. And the plasma protein bound drug is more concentrated in plasma than the drug that low in, hence it is eliminated rate will be slow when compared with drug that does not bind to plasma protein. This is not sufficient that a plasma bound drug is having the more concentrated drug, or we can say that more drug present in your plasma due to their more binding and less elimination of that particular drug. Further, the protein bound drugs show non-linear elimination, where the drug is not bound to the plasma protein, show linear elimination. In this, next is a careful elimination of curve A reveals that the slope of bound drug decreases gradually. Means in this graph, we see that A is reveals, and in this there's a one slope of bound drug that slope down or decrease slowly as the concentration get decreased. And it means the free drug concentration decrease, bound drug concentration increase, means more bound drug is available and compared to free drug concentration in graph A. And the total drug concentration in plasma decrease. When the elimination is decreased, then we can say that plasma drug concentration is also decreased, or elimination is increased and plasma drug concentration is get decreased. In other words, the ratio of bound drug to free drug is not constant. It may be differ, but increase in low plasma concentration of a drug. And therefore, fitting the plasma concentration time data for protein bound drug in the simple one compartmental model without accounting this protein binding result in Arrhenius estimation of volume of distribution and half-life. And next is drug which bound to plasma protein will show non-linear kinetics. Means those drugs who bound in plasma protein or easily bound with plasma protein, these type of drugs show non-linearity or responsible for non-linear kinetics. Next is non-linearity of pharmacokinetic response. So in this empirical approach in optimization of drug therapy was based on relating pharmacological response. Means this empirical formula or empirical approach of optimization of a drug or optimizing of the formula is based on mainly pharmacological response, or we are relating this pharmacological response with nature of a drug or amount of the drug. And in this, we can say that These pharmacological response is also dose administered, or depending on the dose that we administered or how much concentration dose is administered. And the given dose or dosing rate can result in large deviation in plasma, means dose or dosing interval, means how much drug is administered. Suppose 500 mg is administered, as well as dosing rate means in every day or every hour may be vary. So these dose as well as dosing rate may show the deviation in plasma drug concentration or may vary the plasma drug concentration. In most cases are attributed to formulation factor, and we can say that this is maybe depend on formulation of a drug and pharmacological response of your drug. So in this, sometimes the pharmacological response may be non-linear. In this saturable absorption rate, these are the some parameters which show the non-linearity. So in this, first is saturable absorption parameter. Second is saturable binding or reabsorption. Next is saturable elimination. So these are the parameters that show the non-linearity. In this, first is saturable reabsorption, where the drug concentration of absorption site is no further increase in absorption rate, means it do not show the more absorption rate or increase in absorption rate. Therefore, absorption rate constant, possibly viability decrease, means these concentration may be decrease the viability of a drug, and those tending to concentration at the absorption site above the maximum absorption capacity. Next is saturable binding or reabsorption. So in this, amount at a certain drug concentration, drug protein binding or drug reabsorption in the kidney tubule, these are the sites where the reabsorption maybe takes place and tends to reach maximum capacity. These tend to proportionate increase in the rate of elimination, increase in the drug concentration. Example is very high dose of vitamins. Next is saturable elimination. In this, we can see that above a certain drug concentration, the elimination rate tends to reach in the maximum value or maximum number of saturated amount of drug get eliminated out. And in this, once these maximum capacities reaches, there's no further increase in elimination rate. Means if a specific concentration or specific saturation is reaches, there's no elimination takes place through plasma drug concentration or plasma drug concentration is increased, and there's no linear elimination kinetics. The drug clearance decrease with increasing the drug concentration. Example is phenytoin. In this phenytoin, we can say that phenytoin follow non-linear or zero order kinetics at therapeutic concentration because rate of metabolism is close to maximum capacity of enzyme involved. And in this non-linear kinetics, whereas half-life fluctuate with plasma concentration as the rate of elimination increase, and the plasma concentration at a steady state increase disappropriately, and if the ratio of absorption equal or exceed to maximum rate of metabolism, then a steady state is never achieved. And these capacities limited metabolism explain the individual variability and the lack of predictability of phenytoin. Plasma concentration time profile as well as the maximum capacity vary from patient to patient. After completing this lecture, these are the learning outcomes that you should know after completing this lecture. This is based on this topic. Introduction to basic pharmacokinetics is what the basic pharmacokinetics and nonlinear pharmacokinetics. Possible causes of non-induction, non-linear binding, as well as non-linear pharmacological response. All these are the learning outcomes that you should know. After this, there's a reference part. In this reference part, first is Sargent Yuan, Edru UBC, Applied Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokinetics. Fifth edition published by McGraw-Hill. Second is Gibaldi, M. Biopharmaceutics and Clinical Pharmacokinetics, fourth edition, published by Pharma MD Press. Next is Notari Robert E. Biopharmaceutics and Clinical Pharmacokinetics, fourth edition, published by Marcel Decker. These references are sufficient for this topic. All references are good. You can use anyone or maybe in a combination. Next is the question part, which is dependent on this topic or nonlinearity. First is nonlinear pharmacokinetic, is also known as is dose-dependent pharmacokinetic. This is dose-independent pharmacokinetic. This is a dose variant. This does not depend upon dose. And second question, in nonlinear pharmacokinetic, may process like ADME is a carrier mediated. Is influence of a drug on metabolism process. C is drug biotransformation of the organism, and D is the influence of a drug genes. Next question, drug that demonstrate the saturation kinetics show is elimination of a drug follow first order kinetics. B is elimination of a drug does not follow first order kinetics. C is the elimination half-life does not change as the dose is increased. And D is the elimination of a drug follows zero order kinetics. Next question is half-life is the time required to is the change the amount of a drug in plasma by half during the elimination. B is the metabolize half of the introduced drug in the active metabolites. C is the absorb half of introduced drug. D is the bind a half of introduced drug to plasma protein. Next question is half-life does not depend on A by transformation, which time of a drug absorption, C is concentration of a drug in plasma, and this rate of drug elimination. Next question is elimination rate constant is defined as the following parameter. Is the rate of absorption, B is maximum concentration of substrate in plasma, C is highest single dose, and D is a half-life. Next question is a biological half-life equation. First order process is A. T half is equals to A divided by 2K. This T half is equals to 0.693 divided by K. C is equals to T half is equals to 1 divided by AK. This T half is equals to 3 divided by 2K. Next question, the rate of diffusion of a drug across biological membrane is A is directly proportional to the concentration gradient. B is dependent on route of administration. C is directly proportional to the membrane area, and D is indirectly proportional to lipophilicity. Next question is the biological half-life of a drug. A is it is a constant physical property of a drug. B is a constant chemical property of a drug. C is it may be increased in patient with impaired renal failure. And D is it may be decreased in patient by giving the drug by rapid. Next question is this the loading dose of a drug is based on A is a time taken for complete elimination. B is the percentage of drug excreted unchanged in urine. C is percentage of a drug bound to plasma protein, and D is the apparent volume of distribution and desired drug concentration in the plasma. So these are the questions that is related to nonlinear kinetics or introduction to nonlinear kinetics, this lecture. After completing this lecture, you can easily answer this question. So thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. Thank you, everyone.